Hello, how's everyone doing? Hey, my name's Derek Parker, Regional Vice President in Primerica. Hey, today I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about doing what we call financial needs analysis. And I'll talk to you a little bit about the value of a financial needs analysis. And then lastly, I'm going to tell you a little bit about, a little bit behind the purposes and who exactly you're going to use a financial needs analysis for. A financial needs analysis stands for FNA. That's a component that we utilize in our business, particularly for a client, let's say that has what we call assets. Usually when I say assets, of course, they may own a house, they have cars, they have retirement assets, they have equity, they may have other real estate. Typically, that's going to be a client who's going to be 100% in the market, a five pointer. They're married, they got a home, they got kids, they're 25 to say 60, and they got a job. I'm going to use an FNA usually for that type of client. And, typically when I do an FNA for a client like that, it doesn't mean necessarily that I'm just going to be there just to do the FNA. I'm going to do what I call collaborative selling, meaning I'm going to be able to provide an FNA for the client, but also collaboratively, I'm going to be able to close pieces of the business along the way. Does that make sense? Their time is very valuable. Your time is very valuable. So, when you're taking information, you essentially just don't want to take the information to provide a service. Yeah, we do a service. We do a great job with a financial needs analysis. I think that part of the business really separates us from the pack. Let's face it, there's no other companies out there doing FNAs. So my thought is, of course, if I'm in a qualified market, I'm going to do an FNA, 100% of the time. I'm going to do it for a family with married home, kids, so on and so forth. But I'm not just going to do an FNA and not collaboratively sell, not help the family and put some things in place. Because think of it this way. There's a couple reasons behind that. Let's just say you are an architect. And, an architect, you drew up the design for, say, a big company. My landlord is an architect. And let's just say, he builds garages. So let's just say a company contracted him to build a garage. Do you think he's going to, put the work together, do the designs and say, hey, look, here's the designs, take a look at it for free? Of course not. If you do the work, you expect to get paid for it. And that's the same thing here in Primerica. If you're doing an FNA for somebody, you should expect to get paid for it. So number one, I'm not going to do an FNA for someone who's not going to become a client. If you choose not to do business with me, well, that information that I inputted, it's coming with me. That's my work. That's my 3-4 hours of work. Why am I going to give that up to you for free? Complimentary means it's complimentary for people that are your clients. It's a big difference. Free means everyone gets one, but this is a compliment. So it's complimentary, and you have to really make that distinction. So that's really, really key when you do FNAs. Don't be giving away free FNAs for people, because we don't offer a free service. We offer a complimentary service, and we want to help people. So if I'm going to do an FNA for a client, I'm going to stage it just like I normally do. Of course, the framework of my presentation is going to be, doing a basic presentation, 10, 15 minutes asking questions. Usually when I do a presentation, I will have the FNA sheet, out on the table. So if I show up and I know that I got a qualified client, it's a 5-pointer, married home, kids, 25 to 60, I'm going to have this sheet right here in front, and I got my pen out. I got a manila folder there. So if I need to take some other notes, I'm going to be presenting, and then I can simultaneously capture information, because it's not just a presentation, it's an interactive presentation where I'm speaking to them, but I'm also asking them questions. They're giving me answers. So when I get to the end, I already know. I may say, hey, Bill, Susie, hey, you know what? You guys have already given me a lot of information here. And based on what you've shared with me thus far, and you haven't even shared everything with me, but I know I can be of benefit to you. I know, there's a lot of areas we can probably help you out in. I just probably need to capture a little bit more, and I'll show you a good game plan in terms of how to get started and really shore up some of these areas that we discussed here tonight. Is that at least fair enough? Sure. I mean, they're not going to fight me on that. So it's very, very involved, very interactive when I'm doing a financial needs analysis, and it's doing it for the right client. So if I'm not doing a 5-pointer, if I'm doing somebody who maybe say is a 4-pointer, maybe 3-pointer borderline, or let's just say they don't have assets. Well, they don't need me to compile information and a lot of stuff to tell them how messed up they really are. In other words, I'm not gonna belittle somebody to capture their debt, tell them their debt elimination date. They have no savings, they have no retirement, they have no life insurance, they have nothing. Why am I going to do a financial needs analysis for that person? Well, I'm going to basically I'm going to capture the money that they have there on the table. In other words, I'm going to ask them, hey, look, there's 3 different types of people I sit with. Some are able to free up $500 a month. I'm sorry, $200 a month. There's a fortunate few who can do 400 to 500, or there may be some who may be on a limited budget of 100 to 150, which suits you. And from there, I can get a dollar amount that say they're comfortable with. They may tell me, hey, 150, 200 bucks we can start with. Okay, great. Well, from there, I'm going to do a dime. As far as like how much insurance, I'm going to come up, with a good arbitrary amount to put in there. I know $150, $300 is going to allow me to do maybe 3 products. I'm going to do some life insurance. I'm going to maybe put the will in place. And then lastly, I'm going to do a savings. If I'm not licensed or investment licensed, I'm going to at least, talk about the savings and then bring an investment licensed person back to implement that. But I'm still going to have those things there. And then therefore I'm able to get much more value and emphasis of working with a client in that fashion, as opposed to doing an FNA that really in their mind, they're kind of like, you know what? I don't know. So I still, even if I did all those things there that I just referenced, I can do an FNA on the back end. That's going to allow me to take a little bit of time and really address why am I there? I'm there for a couple of reasons. Well, 3 reasons. I'm there to recruit that person. If they're recruitable, I'm there secondly to basically get the business. In a big way. I'm there to get the business, close business, help that family. And then thirdly, I'm there to get referrals, for the person that I'm training, if I'm training somebody. I'm not going to spend an hour talking about the presentation and the value of the FNA and all this stuff, and then I haven't done anything, and hours gone by, and now maybe they say, yeah, I want an FNA, and then I got to come back to do an FNA. That's stupid. I would never do that. I want to limit their time, because my chance for getting back in the door now may be minimal, because now they're thinking, well, this guy's got to be an idiot because he probably doesn't know what he's doing, because he gets wasted a half hour to an hour of my time last time talking about this stuff, and I don't want to go through this all the time. I just really want to implement something and get things in place. So that's very, very critical. I think what happens a lot of times is sometimes we waste time with the wrong people instead of just going ahead and putting things in place. So if I'm sitting with a client, and let me just clarify what I said, assets, meaning they own a home. They say got other investments outside of their retirement plan. Maybe they had 2 or 3 other retirement plans. So I know right away they're going to need to identify what is called their FIN number, or financial independence number. So that's an asset. Maybe they have real estate. Maybe they have other debts. They have children. They have stuff. So I'm going to do the financial needs analysis, for them. And then I'm going to capture on the analysis. We've really condensed the analysis. It's really 2 pages. It's the front page, which basically asks the basic questions of your name, birth date, when do you want to retire, how much money do you currently have in retirement? Those questions there are presented so you can capture how much assets they have. I know, for example, if you tell me, well, hey, I got $50,000 at my current job, and then I had a previous job and I had an old 401k of, say, maybe another 100,000. Well, if I'm an investment licensed person, I don't want to leave any old money out there. I'm going to basically capture that on the FNA. So why? Well, so I can go render or show a proposal for me to roll that money over to an IRA where I can invest or help that client invest the money. Why would you allow them to leave money out there for another institution who doesn't care about them, who's not going to manage their money? Their money's going up or down. They may be paying, higher fees, but it's not being managed. Now they can put a face with a name. They can reference a person who can really take care of them and really address their needs. So that's very, very critical, on the front part of or making sure that this is completed in its entirety. And it's really simplified. We have all the questions there. We have the input for the section for the mortgage. We have all the other debts. And then there's basic questions that we list here. So for example, do you currently own life insurance outside of your job? Well, why do we ask that question? Well, it's pretty obvious. If they don't have life insurance outside of their job, then whatever money that they gave me or commitment that they may have made, I'm going to identify a proposal or show them a plan of how to get life insurance outside of their job. Do you have a will? Well, if they don't have a will, well, we have a Primerica legal protection plan, so we know exactly how to put a will in place. We ask the basic questions here as far as how much coverages they currently have in place. We ask the questions if we could put a program in place that would give you more coverage for less. Would you be open to looking at that? So these are basic questions there. So let me just kind of set this up. So let's just say I'm sitting with a family. They're a 5-pointer, and through the course of our conversation, I'm having an interactive presentation. That's why you got to know your presentation and making sure that you're interacting with the client as opposed to just looking down and going forward and not having any interaction. Because see, if I'm looking down and I'm not interacting, see, the husband, maybe when I sat down, he was sitting there like this, or he was maybe slouched down in his seat like that. But see, if I'm interacting, he's going to have to adjust his body language. And typically what happens is when he adjusts his body language and he starts going forward like this, see, that tells me right then and there that he's open, he's interested. Or he may, the wife may be like this, scratching the tip of their nose or stroking their chin. There's certain cues that tells you, hey, look, you know what, non-verbally, they're interested, but maybe there's some other additional information that they need. And then you ultimately want to get them to be like here, where they're engaged and they're interacting. So let's just say I'm going to do an FNA. I start with a family, beautiful home, and I know through the course of our conversation, hey, they're engaging, they got some things, but I know because I'm interacting that I'm not just going to go ahead and slam dunk and close business with this family just like that here tonight. See, you're not going to be able to walk into every family and just, man, bam, slam, bam, thank you, out the door. People buy emotionally first, and then they rationalize logically after you've left. So if I'm dealing with a family and they got assets and I know what's on the table, I've asked good questions throughout the presentation. I've gotten yes momentum, 7 yeses minimally. 7, why? Well, it's been proven psychologically that when you ask people yes questions and they say yes 7 times, in the end, they're more likely to go ahead as opposed to that person really kind of balking and really having questions. So you have to get the yes momentum going in your favor. And once you have the yes momentum going in your favor, when I get to the end, I'm not going to ask them, would you like me to do an FNA? No, I've already gotten the FNA. Why am I going to ask them a question such as, do you want an FNA? If that's a dangerous question. No, instead I'm going to say, hey, John and Mary, I already got a lot of your information here. Sounds like I could really put a good a game plan in place to really help you guys. Would you be open to seeing exactly what we can do as far as really bettering your future and making an impact in terms of your life financially? Sure. I've gotten yes momentum. Now, as a result, I can move ahead and get all the additional information that I need. So that transition is very, very, very critical, and you got to practice that so you can get better at that. So when I segue to getting the FNA, now when I get back to the life insurance, okay, because that's usually the first area that I want to close as far as business is conducted. So let's just say I've taken the information, I've gotten some basics. Don't get so caught up into having all the information accurate. Accuracy is not my intent right now. What I'm looking for is cooperation. I'm looking for a door where I can get them somewhat, give me 30, 40% cooperation. And then on the back end, I'll do an incredible job. And then I'll get more cooperation, as we go. And then the second time I come back, I'll really have you, sold out on what Derek Parker does through Primerica, because we've built a relationship in terms of what's taking place. So don't get so caught up in complete accuracy. Well, these numbers are wrong. I got to have all. No, look, around how much do you have for retirement? What about your husband? Around how much do you have? About how much do you have, saved for, are you is coming out every month for your 401k in retirement? Sometimes you'll have people that'll give you all that information. They'll just be fully cooperative. They'll say, give me that form. Hey, I'll fill it in completely for you and have it done, that type of thing. But the majority of the time, you're not going to have that. So don't just think people are just going to voluntarily give you their information. Usually you have to motivate people to give you their information. And motivating, as I mentioned before, is essentially, the questions I mentioned. So if I'm going to motivate somebody, I may say, hey, look, you know what, Renee, looks like you have a lot of debt. Man, we can probably shore up a game plan to help you get out of debt in half the time. I'm telling you, by doing one of these FNAs, these analysis, man, it's going to really make a big difference. So I just need a little bit more information to really, get you going on that. It sounds like a winner. What you think? Yeah, sounds great. Let's do it. You see there? I'm motivating her. I'm motivating her through certain things and what I'm saying and how I'm framing it. I'm motivating her. There's no way in the end do I want her to say, I want to think about it. See, if you're uncertain about it, then she's going to be uncertain about it. So you have to be completely uncertain about it, So if I'm going to get this information here, minimally, the thing that I minimally want to come away with when I do the FNA is minimally I want to come away with doing the life insurance. You can do the life insurance. You can compile some of this information. So you compile some of the information. Let's say I get to the life insurance and I realize that maybe they have an antiquated plan through another life insurance company. I can kind of do an apples to apples comparison, or they may only have group insurance. I'll say, hey, look, I'll maybe show them Dave Ramsey, work life insurance, why that's bad, and then I'll play that video, and then they're like, oh yeah, we definitely need that. Well, it has a question here about their commitment question. Well, how much can you commit on a monthly basis to go towards your goals and dreams? I shared that earlier. 200, fortunate if you can do 5 or 150. So if they gave me a commitment of say $200, why would I go ahead and get them going in the life insurance? You may not make it back the second time. You don't want to delay or put that off. It hasn't happened to me, thank God, but I know of plenty of other people, man, where they didn't make it back to seeing certain clients because they did an FNA, they went away, they set another date. For whatever reason, that date never took place. They never came back. So, or, the client passed away, something happened. You don't want to be in that situation. So what I'm going to, say, the way I may address that is I'll say, hey, look, you know what? I see you got another plan here. I know we can, do better than that. You have any challenges with me going ahead and getting you started here tonight? Nah. Okay, great. So I'm going to do a dime triplicate of choice. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to put the least of life insurance in place. And then I got all the information for the FNA, and I'll say, hey, great, let's set another time where we can come back and, I'll give you your FNA, and then we'll put the other things in place that we talked about. So, walking away minimally with life insurance, or maybe life insurance in a will, you want to walk away with something. But there may go some times where, depending on the type of client you have, they may have some more questions, and they may really kind of want to wait till you get back with the FNA. Let me just preface and say this. I'm not coming back with the FNA if I don't have a buying commitment, okay? So most of us think that life insurance, we think our products and services are sold the second time that we come back. No, it's actually sold the first time you come. Well, what do you mean, Derek? Well, I know that if I do a great job and I ask great questions and I follow the question format here, I've already got a commitment. So whether I close or not on the first, if I've done the right things, when I come back, it should be pretty automatic. I know that if they're like balking, if I ask the commitment questions and I'll say, hey, look, so you can commit to $200. So when I come back, if you like what you see, you can get started with $200. And they say, oh, we want to think about it and, look it around. See, I'm not going to let that rest. Most people would just be like, well, okay, well, maybe if they see it and maybe they'll feel better about it and whatever. No, my time is valuable. I'm going to say, well, hey, look, there's no problem with you looking at it and comparing. I don't have any problems with that. I just want to know that if I bring this back and it's in better, a better, plan than your current situation, and it's going to help you improve and do all those things, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to go ahead? See, that's what I want. I want them to say yes. I want them to say, hey, this guy's not going to waste his time. If they're continuously saying, hey, look, we want to think about it, maybe we'll whatever, we'll look and get back. Hey, here's my card. Call me when, in the future when you're ready. My time is valuable. I'm not going to waste my time on that because I want a motivated client who's really serious about putting these things in place and moving ahead. If they're not serious about their financial future, why should you be? So you have to really make sure that, hey, am I dealing with somebody who's highly motivated? I've done my part. And sometimes it's I've had to part ways with people where I've done everything that I can do, and for whatever reason they don't want to go ahead. So it's not on me. It's just a reflection of where they're at, and I'm okay with that. But at least I'm not wasting my time going back to see somebody just playing nice guy. You've heard nice guys finish last, right? Yeah, it's true. I mean, nice guys finish last in this business. If you're just being nice, that's called charity. You don't get paid for charity. So you want to make sure that you're helping people who have a need for what we do and want to move ahead as far as what we do. So if I'm going to do an FNA, and let's just say I'm dealing with another scenario, maybe they don't have all their information, maybe they want to do an FNA, I'm able to get them started with some things. You have basically what is called a getting started sheet. These are actually in the office. This is a checkpoint on some of the different items for them that they're going to need, as far as the FNA. So you may start off with somebody, and for time's sake, they just can't go into anything else. Hey, you know what, Jan, I can't go any further. I got to go. Okay, great. Well, hey, I'm going to leave this with you. Hey, let's get this, I'm going to leave this, so you can kind of identify and grab some of those things. And by the way, I can call you back over the phone. I can do the FNA over the phone. So that way we won't waste time. When we get back together the second time, I already have this information. We can make any adjustments from there. Fair enough? Great. So that's, really critical, as far as having that getting started sheet. Another portion of the FNA would be the financial needs analysis form. We talk about this in the office. So when I get my commitment, I'm going to know exactly if I got $200 on the table, let's say, these boxes up here identify the dollar amount. I'm going to circle that. And I know, hey, I'm in control now. I got a commitment on the table. If the client gave me $200, well, if they gave me $200, I'm not going to put all $200 just under life insurance. Okay, I may say, hey, I'm going to take $100 of it or $80 of it, maybe use for life insurance, do 25, for the will, and then do the rest for savings. So that way I know the more products that the client has in place, the more likely they are to be retained as a client. So 3 products is the charm, but more importantly, I want to recruit that client. I want to recruit the sale, because a question, here, what I mean by that is there's other goals and dreams. I'm going to ask them that question. Hey, look, you know what? What are some other goals and dreams that you guys want to accomplish that you can't currently do with your job? It's a simple question. Let them tell you. They may say, hey, we want to buy a house. We want to buy this car. We want to do some of those things. So let me ask you, is there any way you're going to be able to accomplish those things anytime soon? No. So if there was a way for me to show you how to, on the side, bring in an extra $500 to $1,000 per month part-time, would you at least be open to exploring that? Yeah, what you got? Well, I've already shared with them exactly what the business. I'm going to recruit them. I'm going to talk to them a little bit about not how great Primerica is. I'm going to talk to them about how great they would be. You know what? Just sitting here with you, Ken and Barbie. You guys have a beautiful home. I just love how you guys, decorate. Your kids are just, oh my God, they're so polite. People like you. This may be a shot in there, but people like you would do really well in our business. Because I know I can see how close you guys are, and you guys like to work together, right? Man, you come work with me, man, we'll have something great. We can do something special together. You see there? I'm not selling them on Primerica. I'm selling them again on them, how great they would. And when you affirm people, you draw people into you. They want to be connected to you. And that's the important thing. So that FNA, is a really very, very useful tool if it's used for the right client. As I mentioned, if it's not used for the right client and you feel like you don't have the substance, don't feel bad. Hey, go with the getting the money on the table, closing a client, selling the dream, recruit the sale, or minimally invite the client back to the open house Thursday or Saturday, and you'll have great things come from that. So hopefully that's been very helpful as far as how we utilize an FNA, when to use the FNA, why we use the FNA. And one thing I know is that if you continuously work on getting better, if you quit worrying about how much money you're gonna make, work on getting better, and you'll attract the money. It'll just come. It'll just if you just continuously be incessant on working on you and getting better and improving your skill sets and looking at this tape here over and over and over again and studying yourself to be fully approved. You get in the field on the table with new people, and they'll want to take you to see everybody because they'll say, "Oh my God, this person is just amazing. This person just knows how to close business. I just love their style. If I could get that, that's just amazing." So a lot of what you see today is just a lot of Hector Lamarck. Hey, 10 years in this thing. Hundreds and hundreds of hours of Hector Lamarck. How to overcome objections, how to get good at the kitchen table, what to say, when they say this, you say that. You can do that, but you have to put the work in and do better. So it's like, why should someone pay you this if you haven't put the work in order to be the expert? You're the expert. Show that in the field, and just watch people be attracted to you and move you to the next level. So you got what it takes. I believe in you. I know great things are going to happen if you continuously improve on your skill sets in the field and how to present an FNA. So, hey, God bless you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.